Gray of the A's out with back spasms. I'm Steve DeSager.
Sundays, I like to just figure out what I want to eat and then Google best whatever. Best pancake, best chicken, best salad, best whatever the hell it is that I want. I want to know what the best is and I want to know where I can go eat it. I love that. The interwebs is so cool for that. I love being able to get knowledge at your fingertips. I love knowing exactly how long it's going to take me to get there given the traffic. All of that is freaking fantastic and wonderful. But one thing that digital media does, Facebook, Google, all of the above, is it brings people together that think alike. Now, that too, in some ways, is incredibly valuable. Look, people that feel alone, I don't know, maybe a gay kid in a small town that gets his ass kicked on a regular basis. Maybe he finds companionship on the internet that makes him feel less alone, more secure, more okay with himself or herself. You ever watch that documentary on bronies, the guys that are into My Little Ponies? The internet has managed to connect them to other people that make them feel at home, comfortable with themselves, when they've been they've been cast out by a lot of their friends and family because they have this particular interest. Not one which I understand, but man, wouldn't it be horrible if you liked a specific cartoon, you really got a lot out of it, and for whatever the hell reason that made you an outcast, that made people throw things at your car because of the decals on it? Watch that documentary. It's an interesting one. And the internet being able to connect people like that to one another, well, I do believe there's value in that. Also, harebrained people that believe the craziest, most radical, most extreme ideologies, whether it's on the far Christian right or whether it's on the ISIS beheady side of the spectrum, completely the other opposite end of the room. Whatever the case may be, all you got to do is go online and you can find lots of people that agree with you, no matter what the hell it is you think. And what's interesting is the internet. The internet was supposed to be this thing that was supposed to bridge gaps of understanding, bring people as a whole closer together. And now, because everything's so predictive, because Google wants to connect you with things and people that are exactly like you, so you purchase stuff, you're being put in a room full of people, essentially, that think exactly the way you do. And that's kind of boring. With all this emphasis being placed on being an individual, being connected to a room full of people, being put in touch with a room full of people that keep you in this bubble, keep you in this area where your mind isn't thinking, it isn't learning, it isn't understanding beyond a person's experience who is basically the exact same as you. Well, you're not really growing a whole lot as a result of it, are you? No, you're not. So I would encourage you to seek out people that you maybe don't agree with. I would encourage you to maybe talk to people whose ideologies are a little different than yours and celebrate those differences and realize that they are what makes us as a species great. And we can't let Google, as nifty as it is, take that away from us. Too much agreement kills a chat. Eldridge Cleaver.
He's back. AD on the radio.
It's you and the senorita Bunkhauser.
Yes.
Seem a little tired today.
Good morning. Is it morning?
A little peaky. Like perhaps you didn't get a ton of sleep last night.
No, I didn't get any sleep last night.
Did you not sleep well?
No, I had a lady caller.
Was it that? Oh. So you mean it wasn't that you were trying fitfully to sleep, tossing and turning, chasing that sweet, sweet slumber. It was that you were otherwise occupied doing something that is better than sleep, especially when you haven't done it in a long time. Could that possibly be it?
There are few things in this world better than sleep. Last night I had to make a decision, so sorry, dude. I'm tired.
So how may I tread delicately?
I think we can do it in all innuendo and clever wordplay, and we'll be fine.
Okay, so you've been single for a while now, and getting back up in the game via interweb dating, and I've received various communiques at various stages of the days and nights since this started happening.
I've kept you abreast of the situation.
Yes, you've kept me abreast of the situation. I've received various communications from you during the day and nights, various updates on your romantic status, and well, it became pretty clear after a week or two that there were some folks that were just falling by the wayside. They were, as I would imagine you encounter a lot in the world of internet dating, dead ends. They were nothing that was going to amount to anything. Yeah, they were cul-de-sacs. Not only were they cul-de-sacs, but they were no one was letting you park in the cul-de-sac either, or you didn't want to park in the cul-de-sac. Is the metaphor clear on this one?
I got it.
Basically, it seemed like your internet dating was amounting to a whole lot of nothing. Because you know what? I got to give credit where credit is due. Funkhauser is, I'm going to say it, I think you're a romantic. I think you're a guy that...
A hopeless romantic?
A hopeless romantic. I don't know about hopeless. I think hopeful romantic. I would qualify you as being a hopeful romantic. The exact antithesis of most of the people that I know that work in your industry, that is entertainment, and live in one of the most vacuous cities on the face of the planet, Los Angeles. You are a hopeful romantic, and it seems like you have a reason to feel hopeful, and we'll get into that and how you are doing your part for international relations in just a little bit.
Shines the spotlight on Bad Company.
1979's Desolation Angels included the Rogers penned hit Rock and Roll Fantasy. The band began adding synthesizers and strings, moving the sound further away from familiar territory and creating a sporadic feel among the members. 3 years elapsed between Desolation Angels and Rough Diamonds.
Turn me on tonight.
The group disbanded, with Rogers releasing a solo LP in 1983, then forming yet another supergroup, The Firm, with Jimmy Page, bassist keyboardist Tony Franklin, and drummer Chris Slade. After 2 LPs, the quartet broke up in 1986, just as Ralphs and Kurt were putting Bad Company back together. Former Ted Nugent vocalist Brian Howe stood in for Rogers. The group stuck closely to the original lineup's riffy blues rock formula, but its first album, Fame and Fortune, disappeared from the chart after just 9 weeks. However, Dangerous Age eventually went gold, while Holy Water went platinum, and produced the top 20 power ballad, If You Needed Somebody.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more Bad Company and all your favorite artists.
This is Red Food of LMFAO. You know, bullying is a real problem in our schools. There are teachers with ideas on how to stop bullying for good, but it's going to take a few bucks to make it happen. And what you need to do is hook up with Chase and Clear Channel Communities in supporting DonorsChoose.org. Thanks to the leadership of Chase, every dollar you donate will be matched up to $250,000. Go to DonorsChoose.org/Chase.
Like most kids from a privileged white upper-middle-class suburban background, for a significant portion of his childhood, he was pretty convinced he was down. AD on the radio.
Yeah, oh, let's go. Talking that mess, better act like you know. Oh, let's go tonight. Walk away, punk, yeah, bitch. That's right, I know this. You're nothing but a punk, bitch. You're nothing but a punk, bitch. So walk away, yeah, yeah. We've been talking about...
So, as we were discussing earlier, Funkhauser...
Oh, yeah.
Funkhauser's a little on the tired side. Are you saying, oh, yeah? Because we managed to fix the problems that we're having, and now it sounds like an actual radio show again.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, good. Like, people come in here and mess around during they jack with my settings. I'm pretty sure it's this one board op that thinks he's a sports broadcaster. And a while ago, I encouraged him. I was like, yeah, go for it. Do your thing. Make podcasts. I didn't say make podcasts and completely jack with my stuff. Every time you stick your neck out for something or someone. No, I won't say something bad happens, but something bad happens to me. You should continue being charitable and full of the milk of human kindness, because only good things will come back to you. With me, it just results in me wanting to sever the person's head who I was encouraging a month or so before. Ugh. Anyways, Funkhauser. Funkhauser is little peaky, little tired, lacking some sleep this morning, right? Yawn. So, all right, are we to ascertain, Funkhauser, that, well, it's not the kind of tired that comes about because you were busy sleeping, you were busy trying to get to sleep. It's not like you tried to sleep and couldn't. It's that you found something better than sleep to do last night. Mm-hmm. Something worth staying up for, especially when that thing hasn't happened to you in a significant period of time. Now,
yeah, it has not rained in Funkhauser Manor for quite some many moons.
Been a bit of a drought.
Bit of a drought.
Been storing that stuff up like a camel. So you became single a little while back, and in that time you've been internet dating up a storm. Which apps have you favored recently?
Oh,
when it comes to trying to find a suitable mate.
All the late night ones like Tinder, Blender. Grinder's a different thing.
Not that there's anything wrong with that.
Install, uninstall. There's one called How About We that I have not tried yet. That takes all the creativity out of it completely. Like, I want to meet you for tea at this place, and it sets it up for you. But I'm trying some e-commerce, as they say.
Egad. So most of it, and I've gotten running updates. I've gotten a blow-by-blow. Sadly, that is not a metaphor. That's a literal thing. I've gotten a blow-by-blow account of Funkhauser's romantic failings. And he would... and now it's not... I wouldn't say that you're the thing that's failing in this equation. It's just romance is failing.
You got to get back up there and throw the ball and get on it.
Funkhauser would call himself a hopeless romantic. I disagree. I think Funkhauser is a hopeful romantic. I think that in stark contrast to the vast majority of the people that I know that live in that city that he lives in, the most vacuous city on the face of the planet, in the city of angels, Los Angeles, that work in the entertainment industry, I think in stark contrast to the vast majority of those people, you are... well, hope springs eternal that you're going to find something real and worthwhile and not shallow and not based on just skeevy, the skeeviness that seems to permeate the type of world you inhabit. Am I correct in saying all of this? Yeah,
it's out there and it'll get you, and I'm aware of it.
Yeah, so he remains a hopeful romantic, and it seems like, well, it seemed to me from the outside looking in that not a whole lot was working out except for... except for the one person who he seemed to express some genuine affection toward, and that person would be a person from the great white frozen tundra up north, the land of unnatural fondnesses for moose and Molson, a land where curling is regarded as a real sport. It's not a real sport. Oh, heavens to Gretzky. Did something happen with a Canadian last night? Did you do your bit to further international relations?
No, I just went on a Rush marathon last night. Listen to 2112 or whatever.
So,
yeah, no, I spent time internationally last night, and I consider myself a diplomat.
You consider yourself a diplomat? Emphasis on dip. Glad to hear that went well for you. Good job. You're doing your thing. We're all proud of you. So it went well?
It did. Don't they play this in the morning every day
in Canada?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Do they
do
that
Canadian.
there? They used to. They do that here, didn't they?
Canadians are so nice, though. They're really
nice.
Is she really nice?
Nice.
No, but like, does she seem like a very nice
she's
person?
Very friendly. Like her and I are very similar. I've said this in the past. Her and I are very similar, but she's a lot more smarter than I am. So she's using words like that you use.
A lot more smarter. So I have to constantly have Google on the ready. Well, you know what it is. It's the Canadian thing of using the Queen's English. See, Canada, if you have an English passport, if you have an English passport and you go into Canada, come right in. They don't even bother looking at it. It's a done deal. They still have the Queen on the money in Canada. And the other thing that they seem to have picked up from the English is the expanded vocabulary. I find most Canadians to be more in command of the English language than the average American. I just do. In terms of like number of words known by individual, like number of words known per capita, I think Canadians have the edge on most Americans in that respect. So yeah, no, like dating a Canadian might be like studying for the SATs for you. Like you could really learn some stuff. But I'm glad to hear it worked out. They tend to be well spoken and friendly.
Is their history slanted? Should I worry about like did we ever fight Canada and lose or win?
No,
like the North and South thing from the 1800s.
We've always been chill with Canada. Like
they're like our homies with a hat on,
homies.
right?
Yeah, homies with a hat on. That's exactly what they are. There's a Mountie joke in there somewhere with regard to what you did last night. But for the life of me, I'm drawing a blank. So bearing that in mind, we'll talk about you couldn't have a more stark contrast to Canadians than the Nuge. He is the ultimate American in a lot of people's eyes, and he's been very American.
He's Canadian?
No, he's not.
Oh.
Well, they call him the Motor City Madman, right? Which means he's from Detroit, but he lives in Texas now because, America, freedom. That's the type of American Ted Nugent wants to be is embraced, loved, and allowed. And like you can have a collection of machine guns and your own game reserve in Texas. There's a lot of awesome things about Texas, and freedom is one of them. And when you get people that abuse it, not so much. But when you get people that embrace it and handle it responsibly the way I think Ted Nugent does, especially with regard to hunting and weapons and things like that, it's all good. Now, one thing that Ted Nugent has been known for using rather egregiously is his freedom of speech, and he had some rather pointed things to say about Megyn Kelly. Now, people are jumping up and down being like, oh, how dare he say that about Megyn Kelly? I don't think anything he had to say was really all that out of order. I mean, I don't agree with him. He said that Megyn Kelly unfairly went after Trump, and I'll say this till I'm blue in the face. I think what Megyn Kelly did was she went after Trump very early on and gave him a distinct advantage by getting the tough questions out of the way first in a friendly environment. I mean, you're a Republican candidate or a hopeful Republican candidate at a Fox News hosted debate. Like, you couldn't really be more among friends when the difficult questions come out. So it's all done and dusted, and it's been dealt with. And I think that they got it out of the way at a very opportune moment for the Trump. But Ted Nugent did not agree, and we'll get into that a little later on in the show. Right now, though, let's take a look at the events of today in our segment, My Witness News. Definitely not fair. Certainly not balanced. Funkhauser, we know how you are. You are tired, but with a happy,
I'm a tired
yet,
professional,
yet exhausted smile on your face. So
happy yet exhausted. Sure, okay.
Happy and exhausted. Good job. You're doing it. Actually, how long? It had been a while, right, since that thing. That happened.
Oh, since let me think about it. Let's see.
Months, right?
Equinox, new moon, half moon, full. Yeah, months. Mm-hmm. At least 3 or 4 or 5.
Did you?
Or 6.
Now, you know how a lot of people assume that rock stars have access to hot and cold running supermodels whenever they want them, and life is just a constant pork sword battle for them? Like, you know how people assume rock stars live that life? I think there's many that do. Rivers Cuomo of Weezer, not one of them. Rivers Cuomo of Weezer was actually celibate for a really long time. He became a rock star, then he became celibate, and he was celibate for years, I think it was, until he got married and broke his vow of celibacy, or ended his vow of celibacy on his wedding night. And when asked what it was like getting back in the game, what the first time was like getting back in the game after a long period of being celibate, when asked what it was like, you know what his answer was, Funkhauser?
What?
brief. He said it was brief. Were you how do I phrase this delicately? Was it similarly brief for you last night?
Oh, are you talking about time spent listening?
Right,
I
I'm
carried
talking
at
about
least 3/4 hours.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Bravo.
I teased 8 minutes from now we're going to do this, and 12 minutes from now. Yeah, I did the whole thing. I think I carried the day part quite efficiently.
Did you have to, see, there's one of two ways to handle that.
Checking the time, checking
there's
the temperature.
Three ways to handle that situation. One, if you know that's going to happen, you can do some tactical prep beforehand and sort of, provided you give yourself time to reload. Is this making sense?
Oh, okay. See, I don't have that department for me is crystal clear. That's something I don't have to worry about.
Some tactical prep, if that makes sense.
The pre-party fiesta.
You could sneak away and fire off some knuckle children as long as you give yourself adequate time to recover by the time that rolls around. That's one thing that you could do. Another thing that you could do is you could just be very blunt about it and be like, oh boy, you're attractive. This won't last long, but get you in round two. Or you can just, in a Zen Buddhist type way, focus and stay the course the whole time. Which was it for you? Was it option A, the tactical prep? Was it option B, I'll get you in round two? Or was it option C, I retain the focus of a ninja and I am a paragon of control? Which one was it for you, A, B, or C?
I would have to go with C.
Well done.
Right?
Well done.
I had planning and research and development leading up to this thing. When you're a diplomat,
really?
It's
you had R&D?
A lot of R&D going on there. Yeah, because you got to test it before to make sure everything's working. But no, not a pre. I didn't have a pre-show fiesta.
Do you think that? Do you think she got as much out of it as you did? So to speak.
I probably should have asked her.
Was there a certain amount of high-fiving afterwards?
Yeah, sure.
Was she vocal in her appreciation of your skills? Did she verbalize how well she thought you'd done?
Did she give me a standing ovation?
Yeah.
Was the crowd brought to its feet?
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
Good job.
Yes, they were screaming,
well
encore, encore. Thank you. Thank you.
Well done. All right.
One night only, one show.
What's going on in the news?
A new George Lopez series will premiere next year on TV Land.
Oh,
yes.
Yeah. Caramba. New George Lopez series on TV Land. Unless, of course, Donald Trump wins the election. Then not so much. Go on.
Warren Buffett gave a pregame locker room speech to players in the Lingerie Football League.
Yeah, did you see that? It was crazy.
But to Google we go.
To Google we go, yeah. They lost the game, but they've all set up healthy investment portfolios. What else?
A new study found that women are more into romance right after they eat.
Oh, yeah. Did you, was there a meal before last night's proceedings?
There was not a meal. There should have been a meal.
There should have been a meal.
That's kind of risky sometimes.
It can be risky. You got to eat the right meal. You can't eat a heavy meal. You can't eat a spicy meal. You can't eat a meal that's going to
plus throw in the word vegan.
Oh,
yeah.
Really? She's a vegan?
Yeah, I got to get creative now, right?
Yeah. Well, if she's a vegan, that means she's never full. See that, Cosby? You don't need the Quaaludes. You could have just handed out the Jell-O Pudding Pops. It would have been all good.
Jamming on the one like Theo Huxtable. Days like this when I feel untouchable. I try and make up for all the wrongs I did by living.
USA Headline News. I'm Kelly Sloan. China's president has demanded severe punishment for anyone found responsible for the huge blast at a hazardous chemical warehouse at the port of Tianjin. The explosions killed at least 50 people, including a dozen firefighters. There is no indication what caused the blast.
Senior management at the company has been detained by authorities.
That was AP correspondent Ian Mader. Hillary Clinton has turned over her private email server. For months, she claimed there was no classified information on it. But the Inspector General has assessed some of the emails were highly classified, some top secret, but were mislabeled as unclassified before reaching Clinton's server. Experts say laws may have been violated. And some Republicans say at the very least her decision to use a private server was questionable.
This is something that isn't just a matter of her not being able to tell the truth. This is something that has put national security at risk.
That was Wisconsin Governor Scott Walker. This is USA Headline News.
Everyone knows the proper way to start your day is with a long, hot, luxurious shower. That's why we've created ProperSoap.com. We're called Proper because we're properly pure and natural, with no parabens, dyes, or harsh chemicals. 100% pure vegetable soap. We use rich shea butter and olive oil to moisturize naturally. And best of all, we think it's proper to give back. So when you shop ProperSoap.com, you're funding clean water and sanitation programs in villages across the globe. Shop ProperSoap.com and get proper.
Hey, what's going on here?
Haven't you heard? Handwriting can make you awesome, and that's why BIC's on a mission to save it.
Handwriting can make me awesome?
Yeah. Writing could boost your self-confidence, spark creativity, and it definitely makes you a better reader. And that's pretty awesome.
Huh, I never thought of it like that. I want in. Toss me a BIC.
This year at Back to School, join the movement with BIC and fight for your right. See how awesome writing can be, how great you can be. Learn more at BIC Fight for Your Right. That's WRITE.com. Or grab a BIC today and see trending.
Check out baseball games of note. The Blue Jays knocked off the A's 10-3. Toronto gets its 10th win in a row and moves into first place in the AL West. They're a half game in front of the Yankees. Yankees lost their 5th in a row, falling to the Indians 2-1. Battle of the top two teams in the National League. The Cardinals beat the Pirates 4-2. St. Louis now has a 7-game lead on Pittsburgh atop the NL Central. Cubs walk off with a 3-2 win over the Brewers in 10 innings. Miguel Montero won it with a solo homer in the 10th. That's 6 wins in a row now for Chicago. And the Mariners shut out the Orioles 3-0. Seattle starter Hisashi Iwakuma gets the 5th no-hitter in Mariners history. He's the second Japanese pitcher to throw a no-hitter in the big leagues, joining Hideo Nomo. In the NFL, Judge Richard M. Berman met with the representatives of the league and the Players Association over the appeal of Tom Brady's 4-game suspension in the Deflategate scandal. The judge encouraged both sides to come to a settlement. I'm Eddie Garcia.
We are iHeartRadio shines the spotlight on John Mellencamp.
Singing in a forceful, expressive raps, he unleashed a string of rock-solid albums in the 80s. Scarecrow, The Lonesome Jubilee, and Big Daddy. He restored his surname, crediting those 4 albums to John Cougar Mellencamp. He was now a songwriter to be reckoned with, and years of accumulated angst erupted in songs that spoke for the passions and frustrations of the average person trying to make a go of it in hard times. On these records, he had become something of a musical weather vane, gauging which way the winds were blowing in Middle America.
Listening to iHeartRadio for more John Mellencamp and all your favorite artists.
iHeartRadio goes one-on-one with Mike Rutherford to ask what advice he would give to up-and-coming artists.
Be patient, because the trouble is nowadays things have to move so fast. You know, we had a lucky era where we could actually make 2 or 3 albums and just learn our trade, do your apprenticeship and get a feel. Now everything's so high-pressured and so highly exposed that everyone expects success overnight, but just good songs just will win through in time.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more Mike Rutherford and all your favorite artists.
Now, more AD on the radio.
Once again, the ill behavior, delivering and giving you our musical savior. Back once again, it's your boy AD Can't nobody rock a party better than me. Back once again, ill behavior, delivering good in your musical savior. Back once again, it's your boy AD. Can't nobody rock a party better than me.
So the Nuge, Ted Nugent, had some pointed things to say about Megyn Kelly, and what a lot of people saw was her skewering of Donald Trump in the first GOP debate. Again, I attest that it wasn't that big a deal. Yeah, she asked some tough questions, but she got them out of the way in a very friendly environment. A lot of people think that it was a bit of a witch hunt on her part, and Ted Nugent is one of those folks that agrees with her. He said some stuff about her that, well... if he was running for anything, it wouldn't help his chances. But let's remember for a moment that Ted Nugent, as much as he's an opinionated and intelligent guy that has a lot to say about what makes the world go around, specifically here in America, he is a rock star, and he's not bound to be responsible in the same way that politicians are. He is the cat scratch fever, Motor City madman, wang dang poontang guy, as opposed to someone that we should expect to be responsible. He just happens to be a lot more verbose and a lot more intelligent and articulate with regard to a lot of these issues, and people are all mad at him for being inappropriate. Like, have you seen him do his thing, cat scratch fever, in a loincloth, and you're mad that this guy was inappropriate? Please. Anyways, we'll go over that in just a little bit. Right now, though, let's continue with our take on the events of today in our segment, My Witness News. In no way, shape, or form fair, certainly not balanced. Funkhauser, who did his bit to further international relations last night by...
U.S. and Canada, you guys are cool now.
Yeah. You're welcome.
I worked it out.
Yeah. Heavens to Gretzky. It happened for Funkhauser last night. He did his own version of some curling, if you know what I mean, and I think you do. If you want to give him the Twitter equivalent of a high five, at FunkFM is where you can on Twitter. At ADSXE is me.
I wonder
What's going on
if
in the world,
Canada has
Funkhauser?
Twitter. Do you think Canada has Twitter?
Canada has Twitter. Yeah. I've seen some Canadians on Twitter.
Okay.
I was like, all these
then
posts
don't
about...
be too descriptive on Twitter, you guys.
All these posts about...
You're going to damage relations between Canada and U.S. if you...
I'm guessing all those tweets about Nickelback and Moose and Molson had to come from somewhere, and it had to be Canada, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, go on.
A new website predicts if your job will be replaced by a robot.
Yeah. I'm not worried. If robots are as smart as everyone claims, they're going to avoid working in radio. Actually,
I have some bad news for you.
Oh.
We're all robots.
What are
now.
you talking about? Did you see, something came out recently, some big financial report about all the state of affairs with all these different types of media, and television is way, way down, and movies are way, way down. And the one thing that's standing strong is this antiquated form of entertainment called radio. Radio is way up in the game. We're making just as much money. Yeah, we were making just as much money in the radio industry as we were before the digital revolution, if not a little bit more. Now, we're all being paid significantly less than people doing exactly the same jobs 15 years ago. But, someone's making a whole bunch of money off of our work, so yay, radio. Go on.
A study finds that child bullies grow up to be more successful than their victims. Sam.
Oh, yeah. We got to have Sam back on his show.
Where is he right now? He's somewhere in another country.
I think he's on his way back to America. Sam, the storyteller, Storytime with Sam, the winner of all these slam storytelling competitions and a star of the Moth and all these sort of esteemed storytelling institutions, was off in he went on this globe-trotting trip of pretty much paradise, as best I can tell from the pictures on Facebook. And I had to laugh because it was all designed. All of his Facebooking was designed to make people back here at home miserable. He's like, oh, here I am on another gorgeous beach. Here I am looking at another gorgeous sunset over another gorgeous beach. Wow, this is fantastic. Oh, this is great. This is wonderful. My life is essentially a permanent vacation for the last, how long was it? A better part of a month, I think. And and then he posted about his flight back to America. He was like, I'm surrounded by 2 crying babies. I was like, that's what you get. Welcome back to reality with a bump, bitch. So we look forward to having him back on the show. But yeah, he was a bully when he was a kid, and apparently he's very successful now. So that holds true. This new study finds that child bullies grow up to be more successful than their victims. Of course they did. They've got all the milk money. It's startup cash. Go on.
Yo, give me your Roth IRA before I... Ed Sheeran, the ginger who might be Satan,
right?
Got a chest tattoo of a lion.
Yeah, that hobbity-looking guy that is besties with Taylor Swift, like so far into the friend zone. It's unbelievable. But apparently,
stop it, Ed. You're making a bad thing for all of us.
Yeah, he's got a bunch of tattoos for sort of like a wussy singer-songwriter guy. He's got a lot of ink, and to commemorate sort of like a really big show that he did, he decided to get this enormous, and I mean enormous, chest tattoo of a lion. There's pictures on the interwebs of Ed Sheeran's chest tattoo of a lion. It's unbelievably lifelike and realistic and authentic, so much so that I think he was shot by a dentist from Minnesota.
Yeah.
So we'd love to ask him about it, but we can't. Go on.
Lenny Kravitz is asking him about Cover Up. Seth Meyers is now doing his monologue sitting behind his desk instead of standing on stage. Did you notice?
I really like the change, responded both of his viewers, which includes me.
You? Okay.
I kind of like Seth Meyers. Yeah, I wonder, like, and it's interesting because, like, that is a major, major decision in the world of network television. I'm going to do the monologue behind the desk instead of standing up. And it's a weird thing. Like, it's created actual news. Look, he's sitting down. Look, he's standing up. Like, who cares? He's trying something out. But do you know what the logic was behind this? Why is he doing it behind the desk?
I don't know. Probably because he needs press.
Yeah, no, it was a great way of generating press, I suppose.
It's a good idea because he's in that slot that, like, you're supposed to be left alone and get good at, you know? Just ignore it. Yeah. So, yeah, let him try out some stuff. That's great.
Well, you know, when I see people like... Conan's okay. Conan has this, like, physical presence that's gangly and ridiculous, so you expect him to look gangly and ridiculous. But, like, when I see Jimmy Kimmel do it, and Jimmy Kimmel is fantastic at it, it always seems like, ooh, how do I stand? What do I do with my hands? And Kimmel's gotten great at it over the years, but if you don't have to, why bother? I'm just going to sit behind the desk and talk. Worked for Jon Stewart.
Sunshine coming my way. Nothing's gonna change your view today. Nothing's gonna get in the way of my perfect day. Perfect day.
iHeartRadio shines the spotlight on John Mellencamp.
Such songs as Pink Houses and Small Town still speak eloquently to the sensibilities of the heartland. When he kicked off the 90s with Whenever We Want It, he was back to being simply John Mellencamp, a man who had banished all traces of artifice from his name and work. Having defined his core sound by this time, he subsequently broadened his musical palette with the stripped-down, spontaneous songcraft of Human Wheels. In 2007, Mellencamp released Freedom's Road, his first album of new material in more than 5 years. Then, in 2008, he issued Life, Death, Love, and Freedom. The album was produced by T-Bone Burnett, and Mellencamp called it the best record I've ever made. In 2014, Mellencamp gives us his latest collection, Plain Spoken. It's his 20th album of original material and 22nd studio album overall.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more John Mellencamp and all your favorite artists.
Anxiety and sorrow underneath my skin.
iHeartRadio goes one-on-one with Mike Rutherford to discuss the transition of Genesis after Peter Gabriel went solo.
When you sing those songs, you're back in a certain Genesis, back in a certain setting, because actually the voices aren't that similar really, but singing those songs, they do sound similar. And I think the transition worked because I think the people, they wanted it to work. Phil was in the band. It wasn't a new person coming in. You know, I think the audience on that first Trick of the Tail tour, they wanted it to be a success.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more Mike Rutherford and all your favorite artists.
Now, someone who everybody wants to punch in the face. AD on the radio.
All right, Funkhauser, let's roll through what remains of the news, and we'll get into the whole debacle, the growing debacle with Megyn Kelly. And did you know, like, with certainty, I mean, you're a media type, but did you know with certainty who Megyn Kelly was before the presidential debate?
No, I didn't know her name. I knew her face.
You knew her as, like, one of the many blondes on Fox News?
Well, I knew her as that one blonde on that one. You know, there's that one.
It's certainly...
She spells her name very awkwardly.
Right, with Y's. Like, vowels, we don't need no stinking vowels. But, well, I guess, and sometimes Y would be that situation. She would be the and sometimes. But, like, I don't think the vast majority of America knew exactly who she was before the GOP debate. And now everyone, without question, knows exactly who she is. And, well, there's this whole thing with her and... Ted Nugent. The Nuge had something to say about her, and we'll get into that in a little bit. But lover or loather, the GOP debate has certainly done an awful lot for her. What is it they call it in television? The Q rating, like the number of times you appear, the familiarity people have with your name. Is that called the Q rating? Is that it? Yeah. Mm-hmm. I don't know how it's measured. I don't know exactly what it is, but I imagine hers is through the roof at the moment, thanks to the debate. And with the notoriety comes some... I doubt it. I very much doubt it. Although a lot of people pointed out that she was hot, and there were pictures on the internet of her looking hot. So I Googled Megyn Kelly hot, and you know that fake porn where they Photoshop someone's head onto another person's naked body? There is more of that stuff out there than, I think with pretty much anybody else. It's kind of crazy. Remember, there was a brief moment where, like, famous chicks got mad. Famous chicks got mad about that, about the fact that, like, they're photoshopping my head onto other women's naked bodies, and it was like there were lawsuits and stuff when that stuff started happening, and now there's nothing you can do to control it, nothing whatsoever. But yeah, there's an awful lot of that out there on the interwebs that I found last night. I was just like, is she really that hot? Let's see some pictures of her looking hot. I'm like, I don't think that's really her, but it does look kind of hot. Go on.
A young Mississippi couple was arrested for trying to join ISIS together.
Yeah. Oh, whatever happened to taking a swing dancing class? Like, getting some cooking lessons, something of that nature. ISIS? No. My God. All right, go on.
A North Carolina woman says she was attacked in her home by an axe-wielding clown.
It's crazy, right? I mean,
thank you.
Yeah, if I told you a story about an axe murdering clown, a clown who started attacking women with an axe, swinging an axe at their head, you'd probably think it was from some sort of horror movie, or you'd probably think that it was from someone's nightmare. And while it might be from both of those things, it actually happened. A North Carolina woman said she was attacked in her home by an axe-wielding clown. She managed to pull the clown mask off of the guy, realized it was somebody that she knew behind the mask, which makes it even creepier. Realized it was someone she knew behind the mask, and he ran off. Cops are looking for him now. Yep, an axe-murdering clown in North Carolina. That's like my greatest fear, my worst nightmare. Living in North Carolina? Ugh. Go on.
You got me. Rick Perry is no longer paying his staff.
Yeah, it doesn't look good for his presidential campaign. He's not paying his staff, and it's rather early days. Except, of course, the second grader that he keeps on the payroll in case anyone asks him to name the 3 agencies of government. Ooh. Go on.
A study finds that women may be more responsive to romance when they are full.
Yeah, see? The vegan Canadian presents a challenge, though, because if there's one thing I remember from being a vegan, you're never full. You're like, I've eaten my 8th serving of tofu and mushroom quiche, yet I'm still a little peckish. What else am I going to shove down my gullet? It's really hard to feel satisfied when you're a vegan. Insert whatever highly obvious piece of humor with regard to sausage or meat eating that you want to in this scenario, but bottom line is Funkhauser has his work cut out for him. So bottom line is, if your relationship, look, maybe your relationship is great. Maybe you're passionate. Maybe you're hot for one another. Maybe you feel like life is a daring adventure every time you're in each other's presence. Maybe you still give each other butterflies. That's great. But if not, if you're at that stage in the game where you're like, I'm trying to remember the last time I opened up a opened up a door in my home and you weren't standing behind it. No, yeah, go ahead, leave the TV on. Oh, a Xena rerun. That actually might help. If you're at that stage in the game, turns out that women are more responsive to romance when they are full. So forget about the movie, just dinner and some more dinner. This is, by the way, why, if the Canadian situation doesn't work out, Funkhauser will now spend his Friday night scoping out the ladies at Hometown Buffet.
Are you kidding? We're going to be now that you reminded me of Xena Warrior Princess, I'm going to be in a cave for however long it takes for me to watch that.
Yeah.
I didn't see that growing up.
I don't need a girlfriend. I don't need a girlfriend.
I got one on TV.
Discovered Xena Warrior Princess. Lucy, you're so lawless. Go on.
A new tadpole disease is affecting the population of frogs.
Yeah, I heard about this. Diseased tadpoles. Population of frogs on the decline. Scientists want to do something about the disease, but right now, they're just swamped. You're welcome. You're welcome for that. You're welcome. Go on.
Nabisco is now selling brownie batter Oreos.
Yeah. You ever come across those types of foods where you're just like, oh, yeah, this will definitely shorten my life. Like, I will lose days, seconds, minutes off of my life with every single bite of this food stuff.
You better not say something bad about brownie batter or Oreos or this show is over.
Yeah, it's just one of those things where you see it, you know it's horrible for you, you know it's going to actively shorten your life with every bite, but you're still determined to shove as many as possible down your cavernous, gaping gullet. These are my latest one of those things. Nabisco now selling brownie batter Oreos. Which is good because, you know, the main problem with normal Oreos in the past has always been that they're entirely too healthy. Yay. Go on.
Are you going to try it when it comes out?
Hell yeah.
Mm-hmm. Me too. The Boy Scouts are now permitting gay scout leaders.
Yeah. In a related story, Scouts now offering share merit badges. Oh, if I could turn back time. Finally. Not before too long as well. I mean, look, I'm glad the Boy Scouts got around to permitting gay scout leaders because it means that finally gay men can participate in the up until now straight male activities that the Scouts liked. Like, you know, wearing neckerchiefs and attending jamborees. It's like, oh, really? They're allowed now? Go figure. What else?
President Obama says failing to pass gun control is the greatest frustration of his presidency. Look.
A close second to that was that three-putt on the 17th hole. That was frustrating for him, too. Go on.
Finally got it. A Walmart employee in Kansas turned 103 this week.
Right. Or as his fellow Walmart greeters put it, oh, you're only how old? Pick that up for me, whippersnapper. While we're so young. Continue.
An Arizona man posing as a hairdresser was busted taking upskirt photos of women.
Yeah, well, I would imagine the first danger signal, the first warning sign, the first cause of suspicion was when a male hairdresser was interested in women. That's not a thing. Go on.
Of all the things on the internet now, who's still out there with a shoe camera?
Yeah, I don't know.
Weird.
People get their thrills in old school ways, I suppose.
Donald Trump's lawyer once said it's impossible to rape your wife.
To which Bill Cosby's lawyer replied, sounds like someone's not trying hard enough. Dippity-dip-dippity-doo.
You got to put it in the pudding pop.
All right, let's try playing some audio here. Let's see if it actually...
Good luck.
If it actually works. Does it work, or do I have to kill someone for something else around here?
Well, I'm a big fan of Donald Trump because I believe in bold, aggressive, unapologetic truth, period. And I'm not a fan of Megyn Kelly, though I often turn on Fox just to look at her. When I'm loading my magazines, I like to just look at her. I usually sit naked on the couch dropping hot brass on my stuff. I'm afraid the gorgeous, stunning, otherwise professional and tuned-in Megyn Kelly absolutely fell off the cliff of political correctness when she proposed that obnoxious, meaningless, nonsensical, biased question for Donald Trump. I think she's playing some games. Either that or she's getting bad advice. Either that or she's just getting stupid. But either way, Donald Trump's the good guy. Currently, Megyn Kelly ain't.
Yeah, so people are all mad about this. And let's remind ourselves, though, for a moment, that Ted Nugent he's not a politician. He's not a responsible broadcaster. He's someone who's wildly entertaining, that responsible broadcasters like to have on their show so he can say things that they can't. Ted Nugent is the Motor City Madman. He is the progenitor of the idea of Wang Dang Poontang, a guy that used to take the stage in a loincloth and sing songs like Cat Scratch Fever. And you know what? He still does. And people are mad that, he objectified Megyn Kelly a little bit. Are you not familiar with the body of Ted Nugent's work? And here's the thing. I will maintain my position of the fact that Megyn Kelly did Donald Trump a favor. Said it before, say it again, say it till I'm blue in the face. She's getting such a hard time. Like, the Donald feels like it's a Donald witch hunt. Donald supporters think she's like the worst, least responsible broadcaster in the world. But you know what? It is a broadcaster's job to ask the tough questions. And I 100% maintain that she was getting a tough question out of the way in a very, very friendly environment for Donald Trump. That came from Fox News early on when he was in a room of people that wanted him to win. It would not be the same if it came from the mouth of Hillary Clinton later on in the debate. And now, if Donald Trump makes it that far, which, hey, everyone thought it was absolutely crazy, but it looks as though he might. If Donald Trump made it that far, if he clinches the Republican nomination and he goes toe-to-toe with Hillary Clinton and she goes, well, what about this war on women stuff? He'll be like, let me refer you to the tape of my initial Fox News debate. We managed to squash that, get that out of the way. That's ancient history. What else do you got? He's been put in a very advantageous position by getting that out of the way early on in the game. And people are saying Megyn Kelly went after him in a really, really unfair way, but that's what journalists do. The first debate, this is a practice round for what's to come. And it happened in a very public way. And let's be crystal clear about this. Fox have exploited it for, some incredible ratings. And then after the fact, the people that missed it have watched it gazillions of times on YouTube. Fox have done very well out of this. But I think they did the Donald a favor, whether he sees it that way or not. The other thing, though, is Donald is he's a media event in and of itself. And I could see why Fox News, as much as they want a Republican to win, might be scared of having him be in power. Because Fox News doesn't need media outlets like Donald Trump doesn't need media outlets like Fox News in the same way that other candidates would. He can create his own press, which means Fox News are going to have a harder time putting him in a situation where he's beholden to them. With other candidates, they absolutely can. With Donald, he can kind of run his own race without owing anyone anything, and that's not something Fox News are into. Hence the perceived skewering, I think. Thanks so much for hanging out.